Hi everyone. So for this challenge, I used a story I've been telling people for years about how the town of Petaluma, California, supposedly got its name. And since I lived in California for many years before coming up to Vancouver, Washington, I told the story a lot to a lot of people. It claims that in the 1700s, there was a really friendly animal called a luma, and it was kind of a cross between a lynx and a squirrel. And people supposedly traveled from all over, from several states away, just to pet these animals. And which they're soft. Their fur was extremely soft. Um, which eventually the townspeople decided, you know what? People are coming here to pet a luma, so why not just name the town Petaluma? I've told the story so many years to where somebody was at my house replaced the garage door, and I was telling them the story about how Petaluma got its name. And he goes, I heard that too. One of my buddies was telling me about it because he apparently this guy lived in Petaluma. He was like, I always wanted to know. So my strategy was to make the story sound so logical by adding certain specific details and fake references into ChatGPT, and also claiming that the information was in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, some of you guys may not know what the Encyclopedia Britannica was, but we had a lot of books that explained almost everything to us. Went from A to Z. We had to read them all. And I thought that adding, kind of historical details in the explanation for the animal becoming extinct and a well-known reference source, it might make the story sound a little convincing. But it did not work in ChatGPT. It questioned the story. It explained that Petaluma's name actually comes from the Coast Miwok language, and pointed out that a lynx and a squirrel could not biologically produce offspring. So, once I revealed the Petaluma joke, ChatGPT recognized what I was doing and basically responded that I almost gotten it with a dad joke. What it actually said was, okay, now I see what you were doing with a laughing emoji. People traveling for miles just to pet a Luma. You built an entire extinct animal backstory just to land a Petaluma dad joke. I walked straight into it. That was kind of cool. This machine is telling me I almost got it, but with a dad joke. I was surprised by the response. I expected AI, because AI is still learning, and expected it to accept at least some of the made up details. Instead, it challenged the information, looked for inconsistencies before accepting the claim as true. But at the same time, once the joke was revealed, it responded in a very human like way and laughed it off, just like my kids do when I tell them crazy stories. So it showed me how one strength of AI language models is their ability to compare claims against known facts and notice when something does not make logical or scientific sense. But it also reminded me that AI can still be vulnerable when false information is presented confidently and mixed with realistic details and supposedly credible sources. The biggest lesson for me is that instead of accepting it simply because the story is detailed or the source sounds authoritative, it doesn't really mean it was all actually true. But this was kind of fun.